Good morning. I want to share a couple verses with you that I feel like the Lord wants you to hear, and a word that He's given me for you. I want to start 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 12. And she said, As the Lord thy God liveth, I have not a cake, but a handful of meal in a barrel, and a little oil in a cruse. And behold, I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may go in and dress it for me and my son, that we may eat it and die. And what had happened was that Elijah had come across her, and being the man of God, he stopped, and she recognized him as who he was. But she also knew that when he asked for her to feed him, she knew she didn't have anything left. She had a handful of meal, and her goal was to eat what she had, and then they were just going to, her and her son were going to lay down and die. There was nothing left. But God has a principle about him, a certain way he likes to do things. He has a sowing and reaping principle that is very important for the people of God to understand. When you don't have enough to meet the need, then you need to sow it. I've heard people say if it's not enough to meet the need, it's not the fruit, it is the seed. So what Elijah was teaching her in this moment was, I know you don't have enough for you, but if you will sow it into me, if you'll sow it into this ministry, if you'll sow it into the kingdom of God, then God is going to return to you a greater portion, more than you had. So we jump ahead to verse 15, and she'd done exactly that. She made him some food, fed him first, and it says, and she went and did according to the saying of Elijah, and she and he and her house did eat many days. And the barrel of meal wasted not, neither did the cruse of oil fail, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by Elijah. So she took the little she had, she sowed it into the kingdom of God, and God blessed what she had so that it didn't run out. Right now, we're coming up on Sacred Sunday. We're going to take up an offering so that we can, as a church body, and even as individuals who make up that body, can sow into the kingdom of God. Now, you may say, well, what I have isn't a lot, or I really need to keep it for myself. I might need to pay a bill, or something might come up, or maybe I need an emergency fund. Can I tell you that what you have isn't going to be enough to sustain you? But if you will jump onto the principle of God, if you will trust his promise, and you will give, if you will sow your seed, then God is going to take that seed and he is going to allow it to grow into fruit so that it doesn't run out. It's the same with your tithing, with your giving. If you will trust God with it, he will allow it to grow. He will allow it to meet the need. I, for one, would rather put it in God's hands and allow him to bless it than to try to figure it out on my own. So if you're still struggling with, what should I give for Sacred Sunday? Can I even afford to do that? All I can say is you can't afford not to. Trust God. Give him a chance to prove to you that he is there to bless the seed that you sow. And church, this is a seed. We're sowing it into the kingdom. We're sowing it into another ministry because I know what God told me to do. And I know that when he says to do something, that he is going to pour out his blessings on us. We have a plan for what we want to do around this church. We need to expand. We need to do these things. We don't have enough to do that. But I believe that if we will obey God and sow this seed, that when the time comes, that he's going to allow the fruit to be there to do what he's called us to do. I love you, church. I want you to take this to heart. You need to understand how God works. Trust him. He says in Malachi chapter 3, try me and see. So church, will you try him and see?